Look at the stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you say my collection's complete? What if the Little Mermaid was a salad?
Hi loves, I'm back with another Halloween tutorial in the Twisted Disney series. Today is the Little Mermaid and she's turning into a siren. So first we gotta remove all these cute little mermaid makeup. Now that we're barefaced, we're ready to start, and I bought these prosthetics from ObsidianFX on Etsy. It's one forehead piece and two cheekbone pieces. And as always, we're starting with protecting the brow. Also, I was a bit chilly, so added a little peignoir. Next step is adding Prosaid all over my forehead and cheekbones. I also applied a little layer on top of the prosthetics. Now we just wait for it to dry on both of the sides, and then we can stick it together. The application is always the trickiest part because you have to make sure it's in the exact place that you want it. Oh, and I forgot to mention we need acetone to dissolve the edges this time. So here I'm applying the forehead piece. I start by pushing it on in the center, and then I add a little bit of extra Prosaid on the edges to make it fit properly. It's looking pretty weird and dope at the same time, but trust me, this will be amazing. I'm just dissolving the edges with acetone. I usually do it with IPA because I make my prosthetics with super baldies, so it was quite new for me to do it with acetone this time, but it's actually just basically the same. They say acetone is a little bit more aggressive for sensitive skin, but I had no issues with that. Of course, this siren needed a pair of gills, and these ones I made myself. They will be dissolved with IPA. I did not make a tutorial for the gills, I just sculpted them with monster clay and then made a flat mold out of it. Not that special. It's super important that we set everything with a lot of powder before going to the next step. Foundation. I'm using a super fair foundation to really base out my skin tone. I really want her to have super light, grayish, bluish kind of skin, so super pale is the best base. Gently dissolving the edges of the gills with IPA, and then we're also powdering them before moving on to the paint job. So I'm using an airbrush, boys. Shh! Oh my god, mom life! I airbrushed a translucent layer of bluish and purple tones. I'm using a burgundy toned eyeshadow to really shape the eyes, add some depth to the prosthetics ends. I also use it to create the idea of having a little bit of texture on the forehead piece. And I also added a little bit on the bottom and top lip to make it look like a bit more fishy. Yeah, fish lips. I'm using some alcohol-based paints to create a veiny texture that's underneath the skin. So I am gonna soften it with the airbrush after. Here you can see how I'm doing it, and I also added lashes and eyeliner off camera because apparently my camera just wasn't rolling. I just kept adding little layers of airbrushing and stippling extra colors on top of the gills. I wasn't really sure where I was going with it at this point, so I just kept adding and adding and adding. I thought it would be super cute to add a little fin to my wrist. I just cut that out of a little bit of silicone that I had laying around. I'm using this Fenty Beauty silver highlighter to really add a little bit of extra shine to the highest points, like the prosthetics, the cheekbones. So yeah, here she is, Ariel as a siren. This is actually my favorite Twisted Disney series makeover that I did so far. I hope you guys like it as well, and don't forget to follow and like and subscribe. Or don't, whatever.
No, really, subscribe.
Bye!